TV taught me how to dream.
You're big and have been speaking and outspoken on mental health. And that was the one thing when I got a chance to talk to PG while he was in the bubble, was he was dealing with some mental health and anxiety and depression and separation. How serious is this? Because as Black men, first and foremost, and as Black athletes, it was looked down before as almost a weakness to talk about issues you had. Obviously, we're past that and it's more talked about these days. But what is your take on it, being someone that has suffered from it?
You know, I'm glad that you went back to that because, like, you know, although I was making fun of the whole Clipper situation and that whole restart, but there was a lot of guys, you know, struggling in that bubble. And there's guys in the NFL struggling right now. So, you know, it's not a game. It is serious. But, like, that's why I talked about, you know, marijuana is because when I was playing for the Dolphins, that's when I realized something was going on. And marijuana was the thing that got me through that year. Like, it is like that was the first time I was able to smile again and feel again. And then, you know, I got to the off season. And I went to McLean Hospital, and I was there for 3 months in an outpatient program. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. The best way to describe it is like an emotional disorder, being able to self-regulate your emotions, right? Long story short. I took dialectical behavior therapy. That's a group therapy. I took mentalization therapy. I took self-assessment. One-on-one with Dr. Gunderson. I did a clinical evaluation, neurological evaluation, just to see what was going on in my mind. And I was put in this program, and it changed my life. And there's so many of us that deal with, this life is hard, you know, and if you don't have a game plan around how you're going to deal with stress, that stress can turn into a mental health challenge, a mental health issue for you. It may not be bipolar. It may not be borderline. It may not be anxiety. But if you don't correct these things, then it can definitely hit you in a major way. So, you know, even now we got people dealing with anxiety and depression for the very first time. So I just think that, you know, for me, I appreciated Paul George saying it, you know, because there's a lot of athletes dealing with anxiety. There's a lot of athletes dealing with depression or understanding, being comfortable with who they are in this big space. So, you know, now you got the Kevin Loves of the world. You got the Dak Prescotts of the world really using their platforms to talk about it and highlight it. We still talk about it wrong in the media. You saw what Skip Bayless said after Dak Prescott came out and said,
weirdo.
So, you know, there's a long way to go, but I love where we're at right now, and once again led by the athletes. So, you know, it used to be a taboo topic.
Not to press too much in your personal life, is this something that's ongoing, or did you get it fixed when you went, or is this still a daily battle for you?
Yeah, no. So like now it's interesting, you know, because there's so many ways it can present itself. You know, mental health can present itself in over 300 different ways with just one diagnosis. So for me, going through that process really gave me the skills and tools I needed to self-regulate. So, you know, I could be in a moment and I'm like, well, what tools, what skills do I have to regulate? You know what I mean? To manage this. Can I make it better? You know, do I want to just stay the same or make it worse? So what I do now, and I'll go back to my last years in football. So what I did in the football season, I had a game plan. I knew that was the most stressful time of the year for me. So every week I would sit down with a mental health practitioner. Before practice, I would jump in a float pod. After practice, jump in a float pod. Like I was very intentional daily in my mental fitness. In the off season, what I do is as needed. So I'll probably like once a month check in with a mental health practitioner, or I might check in with a family member or a friend, just like, yo, how you doing? He or she checking on me. But part of my daily routine, because I feel like you need to make deposits because something's going to happen, right? Like who would have known this year would have turned out the way it is? Like did you have the deposits to be able to be strong enough through this? So meditation is big for me. Being able to recover, get away, turn off at night, shut my brain off is important for me. So those are things that I do every single day to make sure I'm making those deposits. So when those stressful moments come up, I'm good. I'm ready to go.
I think the key you said, if anyone takes away the tools you need to handle each situation, because we're not equipped with them. We weren't raised with them. It wasn't something that was talked about. Showing emotion in our culture was a sign of weakness, no matter who you were, from a child to stop fucking crying to an adult. You know what I mean? So now that we're in a space that we can comfortably talk about it, it's the tools, like you said, that you learned from doing your counseling that were allowed you to get through the process, and not enough of us have that tool. I was fortunate. I came from functioning drug addicts. My parents were functioning drug addicts, very abusive household. So I found marijuana at 14 and smoked it from 14 to this day. And that was really, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was an escape for me. And as I got older, I realized, okay, damn, I can focus, I can sleep better. A lot of different things are coming from this. So that's why I was so glad when the medical research finally caught up, because I could have said everything it made me do until I was blue in the face. But until there was medical backup, medical research saying, okay, well, it does A, B, and C, just like these guys are saying it was doing, it wasn't doing any good. But I think if I didn't have cannabis, no bullshit, who knows what kind of deep end I would have went off of, because, my life off the court was very well documented. I was in a lot of shit off the court, but, to be able to be on TMZ and all these blogs and then have to play on ESPN that night, that focus is essential, no matter what the fuck is going on in your life for that 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whether it's on the football field or the basketball field, there's no excuses. And my outlet has always been cannabis. So I'm very thankful now that, like I said, the medical research is catching up, because I know a lot of these athletes, like you said, whether you use it or not, we need some sort of tools to deal with this shit, because people think we're invincible because we have money, but that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah, so is that why you're so passionate in investing in this space?
Yeah, because I believe in it. You know what I mean? I'll be the first one to tell you I enjoy getting high. I like the way it feels, but I'm more on the educational side. Like, I'm not a Snoop. I'm not a rapper. I mean, it's okay to kind of glorify it in that aspect, but I'm coming from an aspect of a former player, a father, and someone who coaches my kids right now. So I'm coming more on the medical side and understanding, trying to remove the word high and explain the medical benefits of it and the way it makes me feel. And I think that's where we're finally starting to make headway, because whether they like it or not, whether they keep finding us a lot of professional athletes use it, and we shouldn't be penalized for it.